Hello everyone, this is Shanko and welcome to another video. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, and when you subscribe, please click on the bell icon so that you never miss a video on my channel. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how we can validate the incoming requests for our mule API, REST APIs, and I'm going to talk about choice routers. I'm going to talk about subflows, and I'm going to talk about flow references. So for the demo, I have already created a project named demo, and let's take a look at the structure of this project. So let's first open the RAML. So this is what the RAML looks like. It has got a query, it has got a resource called book, and we have a get mapping for this, and then we for the query parameters we have a parameter called ID, and the type of it is integer, and it is a required parameter, so the required field is true, and the response is going to look something like this. Okay, so here I'm just going to put one more in fact two more parameters, query parameters. So I'm going to say call this MRP, and say the type as number, and required is true, and another parameter I'd say list parameter, list price, type is number again, and required is, alright, just let's make this false. Required is false and required is false, right? So apart from ID, we have got two more parameters, query parameters, MRP and list price, and we are going to provide validation for these fields. So this is, right, let me just close all this, and so this is the main flow that we have. So it has got an HTTP element and API kit router element, and then we have this exception strategy. So inside this 400 bad request, this is just hard-coded message saying bad request. I just change this, and I'd say exception dot cause dot message. So this would print the cause, the message for particular exception if we have a bad request. And we have this flow for our book resource. So here we are just setting the payload, and we have hard-coded some value for this payload. So here I'm going to provide some validation for our fields MRP and list price, and this payload I'm just going to remove from here and put inside a subflow. So if there is some piece of code that you would need to use in different places, and you don't really want to rewrite the code, or you don't want to have redundant code in your project, so you would rather want to make a subflow and then put all the code that you need everywhere inside that subflow, and then wherever you need it, you just call a flow reference and refer to that particular subflow. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to put this, say payload inside this subflow, and here I'm going to put a choice router. So choice basically works like an if-else condition in Java. Like you can provide different paths based on some conditions, and based on whatever condition is fulfilled, the uh, the application takes that particular path. So here I'm just gonna provide a flow reference inside default, and there's a validation component provided by mule, so I'm gonna use this here, and again gonna provide a flow reference here. So if we take a look at the ramel, I'll just open the ramel, keep this open. So we can see that MRP and list price, these two fields are not mandatory. So we would need to validate these fields only if they are present in the query parameters. If they are not present in the query parameters, the this resource, book resource, or our endpoint should still work, our API should still work, and it should return the required response. But if they are present, if these two fields are present, then we should provide a validation for that. So inside the choice router, I'm just gonna say this should be validated if. So what I'm gonna write here is called mule. That stands for mule expression language. So we can just provide an expression here, and that will be evaluated by mule. And if that condition is true, then this particular path would be taken. If it is not, then this path would be taken. So here what I'm gonna say is message dot inbound properties dot query params dot MRP. So I'm just gonna put this inside the bracket. Not equals to null. So this would check if that particular query parameter is present, and message dot inbound properties dot http query params dot, what is the name, list price. So I'm just gonna copy this. Oh, I didn't save it. Is it still there? It's not there. Okay, I'll have to rewrite it. So it's gonna be message dot inbound properties dot http query params dot MRP is not equals to null, and then message dot inbound properties dot http query params dot list price is not equals to null. All right, I'm gonna save it this time. Okay, so just let me check it once if this is right. Okay, yeah. So if it is not null, that means if these fields are present, then I'm gonna provide a validation for that. So I'm gonna say going to say is true. So for this, I'm going to provide an expression again, a male expression. And if that expression holds true, uh, then we'd be throwing an exception. So I'm going to say so the listed price cannot be greater than the MRP. So that's what I'm going to provide as validation rule here. So I'm going to say message dot inbound properties dot http query params dot list price. We can see all the query params that we have provided in the ramel here. It just gives a list of those. If this is greater, okay, so I should put this inside brackets, and if this is greater than, I'll just copy this, and change this to MRP. If this is greater, then throw a bad request and we'd say list price cannot be greater than MRP, right? And exception class, let's say bad request. Supposed to give me the list of classes that match this, but I don't know why this is not working. Right, I'll just try saving this and I'll try again. Exception class. Bad. Right, I'll just try first setting the flow references. Maybe that is why it is not working. So inside the flow reference, I would need to refer a subflow or a flow. So I would just refer to this subflow that I've set here. So that is called fetch books subflow that I've just set here. And inside this subflow, I'm doing nothing but just setting a hard-coded payload, right? And if the parameters are not present, then we don't need any validation, just call the subflow. Okay. And no way, this is not working. All right, let's just try running this without setting the class. Okay, I'll just try setting. So I'll be using Postman to test the API. So let's take a look at the ramel. So ID is of type integer and it is required. MRP and list price are not required and they are optional, right? Okay, it is deployed. Let's try to run it. Hope this works. What? Okay, there's an exception that we get. What is it? Okay. So there's some mistake that I must have made in this expression. So message.inbound properties.http query params.mrp is not null, and message.inbound properties dot list price is not null. That seems okay. I don't know why it's saying that this is not correct. Okay, I got it. I need to put this inside a single quote. Let's hope that solves the issue. Because if you see here inside validation, they are inside single quotes. So I hope that would be solving the issue. And let's try again for the bad request class. Still doesn't show up, so that's all right. And it would get redeployed once I save it. I'll try it again. In the service. Okay, this time we have the response, and as you can see, I have just set the ID. I have not set the MRP and the list price. Now let's try to send in some alphabets, some characters instead of integer. So we get this message: invalid value kjh for query parameter ID, integer required. Why do we get this message? We get this message because inside this 400 strategy, I have set the payload as this message and exception.cause.message. So it is just printing the cause for that particular exception. So that is what we see here. Now if we send again something that is correct, like 200. Okay, so now let's provide an MRP for this. MRP, say I'll try some invalid characters, and then let's say list price. I think it's already pasted, copied. I'll just paste it. Right, no. List price, I would say 300. Try to send this. Okay, so again we get this message: invalid value query for query parameter MRP number required. Right, so I'll just send 300. Okay, I'll just send 200. What? the other way. Why is this validation not working? Okay, so it says that when this expression is true, when the list price is greater than the MRP, we should be throwing an exception. I don't know why this is not showing up. This should be just showing up whenever I type this name. It should be just showing up the matching classes. It should be listing them here, matching items inside. I don't know why they are not. Why it is not showing it up. I think we will need to provide. Alright, I'll just try restarting this. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. API kit, yeah. So I would set the message now as list price cannot be greater than MRP. And I will need to provide an expression. So let's say message dot inbound properties dot http query params dot list price is greater than message dot inbound properties dot http query params dot MRP. Hope this works this time. Okay, I need to run it. Run as mule application. Okay, try sending this. Okay, I think I have just written it wrong, the expression. It should be the other way around. Okay, so I will just change the validation expression. So list price should be less than equals to, and this should be true. And if this is not true, then we should throw an exception. I just hope it works fine this time. Is it deployed? Okay, yeah, it is deployed. Okay, so if we set the list price as 200 now, let's see what happens. Okay, so this is what we wanted, and if we just don't send any of these, it should still work because these are not mandatory uh, fields, and if both of them are present, only then the validation would work. So this is what we wanted, and we finally got it. Okay, so if the MRP is greater than the list price, it should work fine. That is okay. If the MRP is equal to the list price, it should work fine as well. So that is working. And if the MRP is less than the list price, it should fail. Okay, so now we have this message. So it is working as expected, and that is how choice routers work. That is how validation works. That is how flow references work. In this demo, we saw how choice routers work, how validation works, and how we can validate the requests. We can validate the responses as well. And validation is important because many attacks can be prevented if we are validating our incoming and outgoing requests and responses. So yeah, validation is a really important part of any application or any API. And then we have seen how flow references can be used, and how subflows work, and how we can provide validation in RAML. So yeah, that is all about this demo. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy, please give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.